NXT last night, guys, was great. I mean, I really enjoyed that show a lot. But unfortunately, it's going to be overshadowed by the injury from Shotzi. And Tommy, watching that main event last night, or what we thought was going to be the main event last night, from your eyes as an athlete, as a wrestler, what happened there? Because it didn't seem like it was anything out of the ordinary. It just looked like Shotzi jump and Bully, you're shaking your head, but go ahead.
I don't want to trump Tommy. I'm shaking my head because I have a story about what happened to Shotzi last night, but I'd like to hear what Tommy has to say first.
No, you could go first.
You were about to ask Tommy about like what happened. It looks so simple. Like when you go back and watch it, all she did was she was standing on the apron and all she did was gently jump off the apron and landed on both feet, right? Mm-hmm. But her ACL gave out and tore, correct?
Yes.
Tommy, you know where I'm going with this?
Yep, go ahead.
It's the exact way I shattered my ankle, Dave. Barely legal, the first ECW pay-per-view. I'm watching Shotzi jump off, and I see what happened, and I'm like, oh, my God. I jumped down, weight buckled, my ankle buckled under the weight, shattered my ankle. Sometimes it's the stupidest stuff in pro wrestling. It's like when Cena tore his pec. He tore his pec giving somebody a hip toss. You never think of getting injured on these simplistic moves. You would think, oh, the 450 acai moonsault to the floor. You know, something's going to happen. No. Shotzi just jumped down, and one little thing went wrong inside her knee. Boom, ACL tear.
And it's not like, you know, when Bully did it, he was jumping off the apron onto concrete. Here, those floors are padded. It's just, you know, science in the sense of it's weight, velocity, and jumping down. It just happens. You saw it on the Super Bowl where the player was getting ready to jump on the field. He's just excited. He takes 2 steps. He tore his ACL. I mean, he tore his Achilles. He's out all next year because of that. And everyone's like, what the hell go on? It's just freak things like that happen to your body, but it's also because of how you're abusing your body. It's probably a move she's done a bunch of times before. Like the football player, what do you think about football? I have to wait. What do you push off of? You push off of your feet, and what is that? Your Achilles. And eventually it's snapped. For her, she does a lot of aerial stuff, jumping off the top rope, all that stuff. It's just, it sucks, but it is. It's the wear and tear. And then something like that is, as you know, when we always say, like, we risk our lives, and these are the things that can happen where it's really, I mean, it's not simple where, yes, you think it, but so many things could have gone wrong. If she would have held on to her as she was going down too, because if her leg popped, now you're holding a person and could have either driven her or fallen, cracked the person's neck. There's so many things that, you know, can just totally mess you up.
And what Tommy just mentioned about if she would have held on to the other, who was the other girl again? Just real quick.
It's Lyra.
Lyra. If she would have held on to Lyra while the knee buckled, she would have pulled Lyra right down with her. Because you instinctually, when you lose a knee, when you lose an ankle, when something buckles out from underneath you, you instinctually try to grab something to brace your fall. You don't realize in that nanosecond that you're holding another human body and you're going to bring that body down with you because you're subconsciously trying to protect yourself. And that's where the disaster could happen. Thank God when she did hit the floor, she buckled in a way where she propelled herself away from Lyra. Like she fell in a direction where she couldn't even hold on to Lyra, or at least what my eyes saw. So it could have been a lot worse, but my God, Dave, I mean, the drop from the apron to the floor is 3 feet, 4 feet. It's not that big. But anything can happen in that ring. I tell students who sign up, I mean, I give them the morbid reality of you could have anything happen from a hangnail to death. And I actually use those words. because pro wrestling is it's so different for the body to do. You train your body to become a giant callus and be broken down so you can actually take all of this abuse. You know, when you have a callus on your hand or on your foot, you could squeeze that callus, you could scratch the callus, you could do anything you want to that callus, but it doesn't, you don't feel anything, you don't hurt, because that callus has been built up to withstand just about anything. And that's what a wrestler does to their entire body if they're trained the right way. You break your body down to withstand anything.
Back to ECW and a similar thing. Taz getting out of the ring after a victory, cut his shin to the bone on a piece of metal of the ring, and he had to miss a pay-per-view. And then just like last night, someone else stepped up. In the Taz case, Bully Ray stepped up, and Bully took Taz's place and wrestled on the pay-per-view the next week because they wouldn't let Taz wrestle. And then last night, I thought Last Legend and the entire NXT crew did an amazing job of calling things on the fly. Yes, they were blessed that week by chance to be a tape show, because obviously, you know, when it happened live, they sent all the doctors down. They scrambled in the back. You could reset, tell the people to stay tight. We got an injury. And then here came Rock's daughter. I forgot her name, Ava, right? That's her name.
Yeah.
Ava, yep.
And then here comes Lash Legend, and you could see the referee telling Lyra, like, hey, we're doing this, and the woman tore it up, and they did a great job.
And I will say this, and you know, I can't give enough credit to what NXT is doing right now, and I want to get more into what they're doing right now. But you mentioned that it was a tape show, but that could have been live. Like, they showed everything in the moment as it was happening, even with Shotzi's injury and the aftermath of Shotzi's injury. But this is where it makes sense, because, all right, here comes Ava. She makes the announcement. Whoever comes out here is going to get that championship opportunity. And who was it? It was Lash Legend. But why was it Lash Legend? Because Lash Legend just had a match, didn't have time to get out of her gear and take a shower, so she went out there with her wrestling gear on. Somebody who said that she wants another championship opportunity but missed out on it last night, Roxanne Perez. Why? Because Roxanne Perez just got out of the shower, didn't even understand it, because when this happened, she was in the shower, missed out on the opportunity. That's a great job of making it make sense to the viewer. Why was it Lash Legend? Because she was still in the back because she just had a match. That makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't have made sense if it was anybody else but Lash Legend last night.
And again, she did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I think the Roxanne Perez backstage stuff was probably taped after and inserted into the show. But
Yeah.
yes, they dotted the I's, they crossed the T's. They did a great job of making sense of an unfortunate situation. I've also read Shotzi may be out 9 months due to this, and that's kind of like the timetable, which really, really stinks. But everybody did a really, really good job. And yes, if there's any silver lining, the show went on, and I do think they edited parts of it where it wasn't shot in real time. But you got really, really good main event, and they really, really did assess everything. And hey, and as always, the show must go on. You know, you have to fill that time.
But I thought they did a great job with, you know, whether the viewer wanted to see it or not. You saw Shotzi go down. You saw her fall to her back and then grab her leg, and you could see her tell the referee, my leg. And it was amazing to watch Shotzi in that moment try to get up. Like, she tried to get up and couldn't get up. And at first you saw frustration. Like, she's trying to get up to continue with the match, trying to get back in the ring, and you see visibly she's frustrated. Then you see anger. Like, she starts getting angry, like, all right, this isn't happening. I'm understanding right now this isn't happening, and I'm not going to be able to continue with this match because of this injury. And you see her visibly get angry, and then you just see her break down. Like, she completely broke down in tears and, like, just uncontrollable crying because then the reality sets in that, wow, this is something major and this could affect my career. To see that play out in front of you like it did last night, and it happened in picture, which, guys, I actually think added to it, because now you're not hearing the commentators trying to explain it or give their version of it. It's you watching this in picture, and your mind is trying to comprehend exactly what's going on. And the only story that's being told is the story on Shotzi's face. And you feel for her in each phase of the frustration to the anger to the sorrow. I almost broke down in tears watching that last night. So now I am so emotionally invested in Shotzi. Like, I want to see her get better. I want to see her get well. And I can't wait for her return, because I lived it in the moment. I understand it was taped, it wasn't live, but it doesn't matter. You're living in that moment with her.
If you look at the NFL edits when players get injured. They show it once because they don't want to promote the violence. But what is, normally we want to do? We want to see updates. We want to see what happened, what that player did. Then if somebody's taking a knee, then, the whole team takes a knee. If they cart them into it, they show them. They show that, but they don't show the initial hit. Why? Because it's human nature. It shows the game. And then it also shows like what players and human beings really, really go through. That range of emotion. When Bully talked about his stuff, I remember he kept looking down because I had to go and edit that show. And he kept looking at his leg and his foot like, what the hell's going on? What's going on? I remember for me, on the other side of the ring, when I broke my heel, I went to get up and I'm like, how come I can't get up? Like, what is going on? And then this burn throughout my leg. And I was like, oh, okay, this leg doesn't work. And I had to kind of like scrap everything and then go tell Beulah, you're wrestling Bill Alfonso now. On one leg, I had to hop over there, and also hurt the entire time. Had to be like, watch this match, also react in real time and be like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain right now.
Dave, you know how you were just talking about watching the range of emotion on Shotzi's face and watching her go through all of those emotions, concern, anger, sadness. You were on the same ride with her, correct?
Yes.
They say that right before you die, your life flashes before you in seconds. When you get an injury like that as a wrestler, your whole career flashes before your eyes, but in your mind in seconds, and you think you're done. I can't even fully describe to you the panic that sets in to a wrestler's mind when they get an injury like that, because being out for that long could seriously affect your career. If not, bring it to an end. And you might heal 100% and you're ready to go and did the best rehab you possibly can. And the doctor can turn around and tell the WWE, my God, Shotzi healed so well. Her ACL is stronger than it's ever been. She is good to go. And then creative has nothing for you at that moment. And what do? That's the fear when it comes to injuries. And that all flashes in your head. Wrestlers go almost instinctually to the negative in a snap of a finger.
Well, because
and it's a traumatic experience. When I shattered my ankle, I was terrified. You know who saved me that night? Bam Bam Bigelow. Because Bam Bam taught me how to lace my boots correctly. And if I didn't lace my boots the way Bam Bam taught me, I would have never made it through that match. Continued the match on a shattered ankle just because he taught me how to lace my boots the right way.
And to Bully's point, it's not so much the negative, but again, football. This guy just went down. Hey, get up. He's hurt. You're in. We watched it last night. What goes through your brain? My spot is going to be taken. that spot was literally taken, and a great performance just was had by Lash Legend. And again, kudos to both women for doing that match kind of on the fly. And but right then and there, that's the reality. And then in your head, it's like, I may never come back from this, or I can't wait to come back. But most people can't be like, I can't wait for back, or God, I look forward to the time home. No, that ain't the case ever.
I know we're telling a lot of personal stories here based on injuries. What Tommy just said reminded me of exactly what I went through. When I shattered my ankle that night, when I finally made it back to the ECW arena, Paul told me, Bubba, don't worry. We're going to plug Big Dick into the spot. Dick will tag with Devon. And once you're better, we'll get back on track. Now, me and Devon were just taking off. We had just won the championships. We had just lost the championships, and we had something going. I knew in my mind, and this is no disrespect to Big Dick, and Tommy will back me up on this. I knew that if Dick was in my spot, that the Dudleys would have come to a grinding halt. Tommy, yes or no?
Yes. Big Dick was not the greatest wrestler for that spot.
So that's why I ripped my cast off after 3 days and continued to wrestle on a shattered ankle with a walking boot. That walking boot was passed down from Raven to Bubba to Dreamer, which is pretty funny. We all use the same walking boot. But that's what goes to you. Like, I have to suck this injury up. I have to do something because we can't have the momentum stopped. Because either this guy's not going to be able to step up to the plate, or because they're going to fill my spot with somebody else. It's crazy what goes through a wrestler's mind and what they're willing to put their body through and work through injury. And unfortunately, this is why a lot of guys took handfuls of pills, because they knew if they took time off that their spot would be filled. So I'm going to pill myself up just to get through the pain. And then we get the negative on the back end from swallowing pills. We all know the stories. And that's what can happen. All this shit can go on from a simple, I mean, Shotzi's injury is not simple, but from an injury. I mean, and if you want to get crazy, let's get Austin on and ask him what went through his mind when he broke his neck, because those are real deal things.